tireless advocate for the science of healthy eating. Among other things, the passionate nutritionist and author is educating and inspiring a new generation about the value of good nutrition and eating right, as well as empowering young girls. Meet Tambra Ray Stevenson.
Hi, my name is Tambra Ray Stevenson. I'm founder and CEO of WANDA, Women Advancing Nutrition, Dietetics, and Agriculture, and this is my VIP story.
Tambra Ray, thank you so much for joining us on the VIP show.
Of course, thank you.
You're doing such incredible work in the field of nutrition. And one thing that I find fascinating about your story is the fact that you gave up an interest in medical school to turn to nutrition. Why did you land into this field of nutrition and agriculture? Why was it important?
Number one, I always wanted to help heal my family. I saw a range of my grandma having diabetes, having a pacemaker, my granddad having 2 strokes, dying from that, and thinking that medicine was the way. But through the process of going through pre-medical programs, I realized allopathic medicine lacked nutrition education in their curriculum, and that once I was in undergrad in biology as a pre-med, I switched over to human nutrition because I realized nutrition has the foundations of biology and chemistry just like medicine. However, it had immediate application to my life and others that I saw as a pragmatic person just seemed so obvious to do that regardless of if I pursue it as a profession, at least as an individual, I can be healthy because I know how food is our medicine.
Let thy food be thy medicine.
Exactly.
When you finished your studies, what was next for you?
What was next for me was, one, realizing that nutrition came out of a biomedical model, meaning that it only saw things in a very kind of linear pathway. And so public health gave me that opportunity to see all the other social drivers of health and how it's interconnected, and which is why we're here located inside of a grocery store, because at the point of sale, this is where we have healthy food access. But it's about informed as a consumer how you make those choices, and that nutrition education becomes critical in making healthier decisions to live a more productive life. So for me, it was understanding, one, food is medicine, but most importantly, what was missing in the curriculum, our cultural foods can be our medicine. And that's really important when we see the impact of diabetes, heart disease, hypertension and stroke in the African American community, in the diasporan community, and now even on the continent, having those chronic diseases outcompeting TB, malaria, and AIDS combined is really shocking and important to see our lifestyle decisions are even more critical.
It's interesting to see that traditionally African food is for the most part healthy.
Yeah.
And now today we see all those chronic diseases, and a lot of time you hear about lifestyle and also diet. How did we go from eating healthy to now having to eat these foods that are causing sickness, obesity, and others? Is it urbanization? What is it?
It's a combination. The historical links are rooted in colonialism, and that colonialism gave way to imperialism and then globalization. And when I say that is when you look at the role that the British colonial empire alone just played in West Africa, and they needed new lands to promote their manufactured products and new markets, what we see now with emerging markets. And so with that, you had to demonize one's indigenous food roots in order to swap for a better brand, and in this case, all things European. And so when you have a dynamic where you have the marketing dollars to put beside processed foods with pretty labels and packaging, and you already have the inferiority complex through the colonial gaze that was baked into the system, it's no wonder why we end up in the situation that we have, which is why it's so critical as nutritionists, researchers, educators, to see the science behind the food and not get lost in the propaganda that happens in the privatization of food culture.
So now today you have founded WANDA, Women Advancing Nutrition, Dietetics, and
Yep.
Agriculture. And that came after a trip you took in 2016 to Nigeria. What happened? What was so critical at that time for you to see the need to establish WANDA?
We launched WANDA in Nigeria in 2016 and in DC, and that came from one, realizing my own personal journey in reconnecting to my heritage and seeing how identity can be found in food. Culture is found in food, and that in our educational process, that had been disconnected. And so it was important, one, to show that the West is not best than the rest of us, which is a notion that, again, stems out of colonialization. And having WANDA in basically having 2 feet on both sides of the Atlantic was critical to show that the food matters just as much as the women behind the food. As we see the Battle of Jollof Rice played out in the media, there was a woman behind the making of that jollof rice, and she has a name. And we have to recognize that for every recipe, that's a form of culinary currency, and we have to value and provide proper compensation to the people, the human capital behind these food products, which again gets lost in the sauce.
So today, what is your message? What do you teach? Because I know you work a lot with young girls. One of your goals is to teach young girls about better nutrition, but in a general sense, what is your mission?
In the end, it's 3 R's. We want to reclaim our foodways, we want to restore our health, and we want to return back to our roots. And we do that through our products such as the Where's WANDA book series, as well as developing programs like Cook for the Culture, and now developing into one signature brand, the WANDA Academy, as an online platform providing not only courses that are culturally and gender focused, but also a community of women, whether you're here in the diaspora or on the continent, be able to build that Pan-African Women's Network that we need. And then last, peer coaching. How do we create a safe space of sisterhood from farm to health that helps us see the value of human capital investment in order to really propel the food system forward and shift power?
And you have your little hero.
Yes, Little Wanda.
And she was designed after your daughter?
Originally, my daughter Ruby was the prototype, dressing her up and having little food characters. And through that process, realized how I even got into nutrition was because of a classmate once I was finally in college. But I thought, what if we had characters that taught kids early on about nutrition, just how we have Dr. McStuffins talking about medicine, Dora the Explorer traveling around the world, but combine the two and make Little Wanda about a girl who travels to learn not only to be a global food citizen, but ultimately how to be a meal healer, and seeing that her culture is the source of her food heritage to help heal her community. And to me, that message is important when we think about the field of nutrition, the lack of representation, and having more narratives and images that shift in the direction of showing more positive pipeline building, that we as women can be the healers in our community.
And Little Wanda is a hero. She travels throughout Africa to discover recipes, and tell us what she does. How does she teach little girls and kids in general about better nutrition?
Yes, so it first comes from this idea that she sees a problem. In the first story, Little Wanda finds a cure for Nana. She finds that Nana has diabetes, and so she finds her great Nana's magic apron to help allow her to travel to Nigeria and to learn about the foods from Big Wanda that she can prepare that will help Nana with her diabetes and manage it. And so she learns about characters like Mamadou millet and Hassa hibiscus and prepare them, how to grow them, how to serve them to her family. And so it maps out the whole farm to help process that she undergoes, and to realize that her superpower is her African heritage foods, which is a valuable message to send to kids. And it really is kind of like the anti-message that you see in Tintin in the Congo.
What kind of impact have you seen so far with your work?
Well, number one, when they see Little Wanda the puppet, because we made her first before the prototype of the talking doll, and kids first fall in love with her. And so when you try to take little Wanda away and say she has to go bye-bye and take a nap, they scream to the top of the lungs like little Cheryl did today. And she literally is a great representation. She has the afro, the bow, like most little black girls tend to wear when they're little toddlers. And so they resonate with her. They see themselves in her. And it's a powerful thing to see and to just be so proud of.
I wanted you to touch on Native Soul, an organization that you also founded.
Yes, Native Soul was pre-Wanda, and it
Yes.
really came out of focusing on the food, whereas Wanda was focusing on the women behind the food. And so Native Soul is an acronym that was about nourishing authentic traditions, including values of spirituality, oneness, and love. And it
Broad
was
spectrum.
most definitely, because again, when you see shows like on the Food Network, it's like food porn. It's like the extractive nature that you find rooted in colonization around. We have to reconnect to the spirit of food, the essence of it. And to me, the work of Native Soul is about not only just putting on a session or a workshop on cooking, but how do we replicate the food environment in our homes and how food be a form of community building, peace building, team building that we so desperately need in the moment of high technology, earbuds in our ear, and becoming disconnected to one another. Food has that opportunity to bridge borders and bring us together.
When we look at the way food has been impacting people's health, it seems like food has become an enemy. So
Yeah.
your approach is really turning food into this friend and this asset that we can use.
Most definitely, because at the end of the day, we need food, air, and water to live, and we need one another. And to bring that all together in a way that's kind of like creating a symphony, not only in your mouth, but in your home, it's important, again, in the midst of all the changes happening in society, to remind people, just like the Sankofa bird in Akan tradition in Ghana, that we have to go back to our past to remember in order to move forward. And we bring those principles into the work we do with Native Soul and teaming up with Wanda as well.
What advice would you give people if I was to tell you, give us three main important points that people should think of when they think of food?
Number one, not allow your food to be fried, dyed, and laid to the side unless you want to be too. Number two is believe in the Holy Trinity. That's the onion, the garlic, and the ginger should be a base of many of your dishes, whether it's making a rice, a soup, or this breakfast bowl that we made today, because they're so rich in a lot of health benefits, fighting off toxins and fungus and bacteria. And the third is, again, to see that your culture is part of the process. So many times we look outside of ourselves as something being more valued, when we as Wanda, we say that all you need is already within. And that means within your womanhood, your culture, your community, and your food ways.
So here you have some ingredients.
Yes, that we use
just
today.
touch on what they are and what they're good for.
Yeah, so we had, obviously, we have the onion and garlic, we have the bell peppers in different colors, red, yellow, and green, and we have the mangoes and jalapenos and tomatoes. A lot of these items that you find as the base of a lot of dishes, whether it's a breakfast, lunch, or dinner dish, and plantain that you'll find in a lot of global South communities. Mango, everything from chopping it up to make a mango salsa to a mango lassi or just a mango smoothie. It has, and mango dessert in a flan is awesome. The tomato literally can be used in your omelets. It can be used in making your salads, your salsas, you making your jollof. I mean, so many. And then cilantro, whether it's cilantro, thyme, parsley, rosemary, herbs, creating a little herb garden on your balcony or in your kitchen is so important to add flavor and also reducing the amount of salt that you use. And then having your plantain, like when we made the items, in many cultures you'll have tostones, you'll have platos maduros if you're in the Caribbean, in the Latin world, but then you also have the plantains that could be used for breakfast. Like we made a plantain bowl with the black beans and all the ingredients you find here, and the sweet mixed with the salty and spicy flavor is like a good balance of harmony in your mouth. So to me, it's kind of like reminding people, like, be creative. That is the secret sauce in your mix of ingredients. And sometimes we lack that. And I was just listening to a neurosurgeon just last night before preparing for a session. And one of the important pieces that he talked about was the role that omega-3 fatty acids that you'll find like in your salmons and other ingredients, how important good fat is for the brain. But then the other part that he reminded us is always do something different. Never get stuck to a routine in what you do. And you can bring that creativity into the kitchen, that if you're stuck to a routine of only eating this for breakfast, like a bowl of oatmeal or just a bowl of plantain or beans, why not come out your comfort zone and do something different with those same ingredients? So to me, it's so important to be able to add creativity as a secret sauce into your dishes.
Great. And finally, a couple of years ago, you organized the Wanda Award.
Yes.
And I was so honored to be one of the recipients.
Most definitely.
I just wanted you to mention why that award is so important.
It was so important to create a platform of honoring people, honoring women who are trailblazing across the food system in many different intersectionality fields. So you don't have to be just a nutrition or a dietitian or a researcher. You can be in media advocating about food. You can be a writer. You can be a lawyer, a policymaker advocating for better legislation to broaden policies to support nutrition in our communities by opening up more grocery stores and farmer markets. You can be that researcher who learns new innovations in the area of nutritional science that haven't been discovered. And so it was important for us to give a platform of showing that diversity in the food system and uplifting voices of hidden figures in the food system at a time that we are shifting in a direction where more women who've been blazing trails but not being properly honored and recognized. And with that, we see the Wanda Academy giving more of a platform and space of connecting those women voices to those who would not otherwise even know of these women. It's one thing to even have a class or a book, but the way current education is structured, it's a privilege to be able to go to college. It's a privilege to even get to high school for many people around the world. And so to be able to democratize education through technology and particularly nutrition education, to me, that is the future for Wanda to focus on, and making sure that we offer scholarship opportunities for women across the continent to be able to take advantage of those in the diaspora who have been able to gain the knowledge, gain the experience, and create a cross-cultural experience where they lean on one another and support building a better African diaspora together.
What a great message. It's really understanding that everybody can be a food hero.
Most definitely.
In different capacities.
Yes.
And again, thank you for that award. I'm really, really appreciative. It's
Thank
beautifully displayed in my living room.
Thank you so much.
So, Tambra, it was great to speak with you. Is there anything else you would like to add about the way forward?
Yeah, I would say for us, it's about hopping on social media, supporting us at IamWanda.org, following us if you believe that you know a friend that may connect with Wanda in some way, either in our programs or a volunteer or a supporter, or come to your organization. Yes. Reach out to us at hello@IamWanda.org, because we're more than recognizing the need to have evangelists and ambassadors to do this work, because we can't do it alone. We need a whole world of Wanda where every woman sees themselves as a food hero in their communities.
It is a community effort.
Yes.
Now I was going to call you Wanda. Tambra, thank
It's okay.
you so much. But guess what? We have the VIP game, and we'll see what some of your fun answers will be. All right, Tambra. Tambra, so this is the VIP game.
Okay.
Very, very easy. So you have 5 cards here. You pick 3 out of 5, one at a time, and there is a statement, and you complete the sentence. That's it.
Okay. All right. So the first one says, my favorite cooking ingredient is.
I would love to know that because you're a very good cook.
I would say ginger.
Ginger.
Yes.
Very interesting.
It's
Would
the
you-
base of making my zobo, which is the
okay.
hibiscus drink,
Very
which I'll be making right
nice.
after this.
Okay, you should send me some.
Yes,
Next.
I make a bottle of it. It's called Black Love, and we have it in store.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. We have to find out more about it.
Definitely.
Okay, next card.
My favorite fashion accessory is the gold bangle. I love.
I love this.
Yes, it's my grandmother's actually.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Thank
very,
you.
very nice. Last.
Happiness to me is pursuing my passion and purpose while making profit.
Smart girl. Guess what? You did so well. We only have 2 left. Why don't we finish it off?
All right. One accomplishment I'm most proud of is traveling to Nigeria and reconnecting to my Fulani heritage.
Yes, because you did DNA. Did you do
Yes.
DNA, and that's how you found out.
Yes,
that
through
you
African
were...
ancestry. Yes,
Wow, fascinating. Very, very interesting. And last.
I did. The best advice I ever received, it is learning that all I need is already within and incorporating that into the work of Rwanda.
Tambra, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Your
much.
work is fascinating,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for being a VIP.
Thank you.